So we've looked at one way to take students off the back of the line, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to create a couple functions. The goal here is that, and I'm actually going to put this down below, goals, write functions that do the following. First, students, write a function that adds a student to the back of the line. Write a function that takes a student off the front of the line and returns a string that says student name received a donut. Then write a function that lets someone cut in line to the front, and write a function that takes someone off the back of the line if they don't want donuts anymore. So 4 functions. I think you'll figure out pretty quickly what they are, but I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to work at your tables, and in later activities we're going to pair you up again as Melanie and I go through the pair program for the next two levels of this. But right now there's 4 functions. I'm going to put these all in Slack too. You don't have to type them all out if you don't want to. Here it is. JK, my bad for making you type so much. I don't feel that bad though. And there it is. So y'all should write these 4 goals, and then we'll come back to it in a few minutes. Cool? Cool. Get after it. Now that you've had a chance to write all these functions, let's hear from a few of you on how you implemented them. First, we wanted to write a function that adds a student to the back of the line. Would someone tell Melanie how they did that? Okay. Yeah, could you just read it out for us? Function.
Oh, okay. Function student back, and then student main.
Cool. Okay. So we're returning the KWK students array, and we are pushing the student name to the end of the line. That's awesome. So as soon as a student wants to get in line, we can run the student back function, and it'll take their name and it'll put them in line. That's super cool. I love it. The next function we wanted to do is write a function that takes a student off the front of the line and returns a string that says something like, what is it again? Oh yeah, student name received a donut. So let's do that one. Who has a good answer for this one? Go for it, JD. Okay, function received. Student name. Cool. KWK dot splice. Cool. Yes. Ah, cool. I like it. Oh, you stored that first function in a variable called what? What was the variable you stored the dot splice in? Name? Okay, cool. So on line 24, you said var name equals. Got you. So wait, did you constant out loud, did you say? Okay. So you said name, and then you said received a donut? Okay, cool. Awesome. It's all good. Received this donut? Okay, awesome. This looks great. I love it. Now use .splice. Is there another way to do this? To take a student off the front of the line? Does anyone know? Yes. I heard from a couple people. .shift does exactly the same thing. .splice, what .splice does is it updates the array. The first value that you passed in, the 0, is the index that you start at. The second value is how many things do you want to get rid of. And so it gets rid of one item starting from the 0th index, which is the very first item in the array. You can also just .shift it, but either of those will work, and this is a great way to do that. So just a heads up. I don't think you need parameters for this one technically, because we're just taking a student off the array either way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so like when you do .shift, you don't need to specify which student to take off.
No, because it'll just take the first item off every time.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Exactly. Yes. So we can actually go into our right here and just get rid of the student name. Sorry. Didn't mean to tap that. You just get rid of the student name parameter. Cool. There we go. Awesome. Now the next one is to write a function that lets someone cut in line. You have a question? Sorry, what was that? It actually, the person that is the first index becomes the 0th index. It shifts everything down one, and then it takes the first one off the list. Exactly. Well, splice picks a place to look at. So you start at the 0th index and you take off one item. You could say 5 1 and take off the 5th or 4th. You know what I'm saying? So okay, cool. That's awesome. Next function. Let's write a function that lets someone cut in line to the front. Say Shakira comes to class, right? And like, don't get me wrong, I love y'all. Y'all are some great students. Nothing but love. But if Shakira gets here and she's like, I want to be first in line, I'm going to let her cut. That's just what it is. I apologize. That's nothing against y'all. That's just, you know how I live. You know my life. So let's write a function that does exactly that. Help me out here. Yeah, go for it. Okay, I like it. That's okay. Cool. So unshift adds an item to the very beginning of any array. That's what unshift is used for. Now you could also use splice here. You could splice in the first index and remove 0 values from the beginning. You could say splice 0 0 and then the student name also. That will also work. So splice is kind of useful in these situations for those of you that do want to use splice. But I think unshift is the most straightforward one. It just moves any item to the front of the array and it pushes everything else back one spot.
In general, just like as a tip, this is like great, but just in general, I think it's good to keep your like variable names and your function names unique. Yeah, so it might be a good idea to like maybe call this remove or something like that. It can get kind of confusing pretty fast.
Exactly, and in fact, you don't even really need to have the variable there. You could do this, and that would work just as well. Cool? Either way, you're updating the KWK. Yeah, exactly, and then it'll return the student's name. Cool. So then the last function we need is to write a function off the back line. Someone's like, you know what? I've decided to be health conscious today. I'm not getting donuts. So if that's the case, what function will we write? exactly. So it's the last one that takes someone off the back of the line. So we'd say what? Function, you said no donuts, I think someone said that? Function no donuts. Okay, cool. I like this. And do we need a parameter here? No, probably not. Cool. So then, what would we run? Yeah. Awesome. KWK students dot pop. And then there you go. And those are the 4 functions we need. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to add a front end HTML document to our little app here so that we can actually view the line and run some functions. And I'm going to give you donuts. Yes. Yeah.